Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. I'm Ryan from Industry Threadworks, and we're going to talk about one of the most common things that every apparel brand owner has questions about is blanks. So first off, what are blanks? So you probably heard about custom cut and sew. You may not have heard about blanks. So custom cut and sew sounds very sexy. It's where you get your garments basically custom cut and sewn. That's a whole different topic, which we're not going to get into here. Just know that it is usually higher minimums, much more expense, much more complication as well. We never recommend new brands go with custom cut and sew, even though it's sexy and you want to start there. It's something you work into. Once your brand is doing like maybe $1 million in revenue, that's something you can explore. But starting out, blanks are for sure the way to go. So to start with that, I'm going to give you the top 5 blanks that we have that we see across, the 19 years I've been doing apparel manufacturing for other brands. These are the best ones we've seen across the market. There are better and worse. Better is described by different brands in different ways. But I can tell you, after running millions of shirts for hundreds of different brands, these are the top ones that we see perform the best and have the best customer satisfaction rating of all of them. So start off with, and I know you guys are all brand owners or want to be brand owners, so I'm going to try to keep this as brief and descriptive and information packed as possible so you guys can get back to doing what it is that you need to do, which is start and grow and scale your brand. So first off, the number one best-selling blank of all time currently is the Next Level 6210. So 6210. So blanks also, what blanks are is like there's hundreds of different blank manufacturers, and each blank manufacturer has dozens and dozens of different styles. So when you go and talk to your manufacturer, you can't just tell them, hey, I want a next level blank, because that could be dozens of different ones. So you got to be very specific in the style number of which one you want. And if you say something like this is technically called the next level 6010 CVC, if you say CVC, they're going to know what you mean, but you kind of look like JV if you do that. So we're going to teach you how to be direct and knowledgeable on this topic as possible. So next level, always tell them the manufacturer name and the style number you want. So this is the next level 6210. We do probably 80% of our business on this blank here. In fact, if you're in the military apparel brand space, I guarantee you already have some of these blanks in your closet, and they're probably your favorite blank. So what this one is it's a 60-40 blend, so 60% cotton, 40% polyester. Is to go to. The reason that people like it is it's very economical. It's one of the cheapest blanks you can get, but it's not cheap feeling. It feels good and it's a good cut. That's why it works. It's a good cut. So if you're in shape, it accentuates the parts of you that are in shape. And if you're not in that great of shape, it doesn't accentuate the parts that you don't want accentuated. So that's why it works really well. Another key thing to consider when you're looking at blanks is it in stock all the time? And do they have the colors that you want? Because there's no sense getting a blank from a manufacturer that it may be the best blank ever, but if they don't have your, color that you want in stock all the time, or say they have the whole stock except for larges, you can't build your brand on that blank. It's going to be hugely problematic. So no matter which brand you go for, make sure that they always have the blank that you want in stock and the color you want in stock. So that's one of the reasons the 6010 is the most popular blank on the market right now. Um, there's a ton of things I can win on that. I'm going to try to keep this short and brief so you guys can get back to doing what you need to do with your brand. So 6210 is the best on the market so far. That's all you need to know about that right now. The next one behind that is the Next Level Apparel, same manufacturer, but this is their 3600, which is the same cut, but different material. This is a 100% cotton version. Now, the thing with cotton is that the best blanks on the market and the shittiest blanks on the market are both cotton. The reason that people do blends is they want the feel of a really nice cotton shirt without the expense of a really high-end cotton shirt. So this does a great job of blending those. It's also really good for other types of printing. We do mainly screen printing, but we also do print on demand. Print on demand can be DTG, DTF, heat transfers, whatever. We'll get into that on another video. We're just trying to focus on blanks right now, but just know that the 3600, if you have to go with the cotton, is a really, really good option for that. That's what we use in our line for Liberty Risk, and it's my personal favorite. Just personally, I only wear cotton blanks. The polyester just I start to sweat too fast, and then I get all stinky. So I don't wear blends. So 3600 is a great option for that. Now, if you want to do, we get a lot of requests from different brands that want to do something like in the urban space or in a more, what do you call it? Like, if they want something different, like a heavier weight cotton and a little bit of an oversized cut. There's a ton of brands that do that. The one that does it the best, in our opinion, is the AS Color 5001. So the 5001 is their staple tee, is what they call it. This is really good. It comes from a factory, super nice and clean. It's a really good option, and it fits that market perfectly. Just know that as you get up into the different blank styles, they have different price ranges, and your total cost of goods is going to be largely determined by the blank that you choose. This AS Color 5001 is probably a buck or two more expensive than the 3600 or the 6210 from Next Level, but it's also a good option. Now, as you're going through all this, the best way to do it is to order a blank sample from each manufacturer. It's, if you can, in the color that you want to try it out. And that way you can try them all out in the colors and the sizes that you want and see which one you feel most confident and comfortable in, because that's probably going to be what your consumer is most comfortable and confident in as well, which means that you'll sell more t-shirts, which is the goal, right? So AS Color 5001, also a good option. Another one in that vein that's also super popular right now is the Comfort Colors, the manufacturer, and the style member that is their most popular one is the 1717. Now, this is kind of an oversized blank. It does come with some cool, kind of what's called garment dye stuff, which gives it a little bit like a, you can see like a faded look to it, which is super cool. If you're going for that, just know that this Comfort Color 1717 is a buck or two more expensive than the other one, which is a buck or two more expensive than the Next Level. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing blanks. Is every level you go up, you're adding to your cost of goods. So um, something to consider. The other thing to notice with these Comfort Colors, the 1717s, well, all Comfort Colors basically have this issue. It's not an issue. It could be a positive if you're looking for that. That these tags are not meant to be torn out. So when you get something like say the AS Color tag, that's meant to be torn out. Super easy. You can just rip it out. It's very easy to relabel, where then you can put your own private label uh, brand manufacturer name in there, and that's a much higher package look for your customer base. Um, However, the 1717s and anything from Comfort Colors is not designed to do that. These tags are very difficult to rip out. You got to be very careful when you cut them out. So there's gonna be more expense to relabel them as opposed to some other brands that are easier to rip out. You can take them out. Just know that they might not always come out perfect, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive to relabel those than others. An example of that, this is a brand, Savage Supply Co. I've been working with recently. So they're using the 1717, but we did cut the label out and private labeled it for them with their own brand name. So it is possible to do. It just adds a different, it's a little more pricey to do it that way. Another blank option is a tri-blend. And that's one that everybody thinks is going to be, oh, it's going to be awesome. Tri-blends are great. They feel super soft. And they are. However, here's the problem with tri-blends. They are normally around $2 more expensive than any other material that you can have. They do feel softer, but they only feel like maybe 5 to 10% softer than any other one. And it'll up your price point by the time you get it to retail, probably $3 or $4. So we have noticed that most brands who start on a tri-blend blank end up switching to a blended blank, like a 60/40 blend, which is the 60/10, normally right off the bat. The other problem with those is that particularly the Bella Canvas 3413, which I think is the best tri-blend on the market, and the Next Level 6010, both have two drawbacks. So the 3413, great blank. It's beautifully cut. It fits great. However, it's a little more an athletic cut. So it fits about a half size smaller than most of the other cuts. So if you're like a CrossFit gym or something like that, where all your demographic of people is in really good shape, that's a great blend to get into. It's a great blank to get into. It might not be the best choice. It is not the best choice for most regular brands. So keep that in mind. The other problem we run into with the Next Level 6010, 6D10, is that that blank, for whatever reason, when they cut it, when they cut the material has to be left to set for a little while. And apparently, I don't know if it changes, but for the last couple of decades, they haven't been changing this. They don't let it set long enough. So what happens is the material will torque. And so the front of a shirt, this will look good. So if a print like this, it's fine. But on the bottom of the shirt will torque either left or right, usually left, about 3 to 4 inches. So if you have a big square print, that print will look torqued on the t-shirt. So even though the 6010 is a great t-shirt, it's usually not the best choice for that reason. It torques and it's more expensive. And a lot of times you're just wasting money because your audience will not really notice the difference in most cases. So blanks are one of those things where it really is the core of your brand. And think about when you make a choice and why you're putting a t-shirt on for the day. You want to look good in it. You want to feel confident in it. All your customers the same way. So the other another layer to this, me personally, I'm a t-shirt nerd. I geek out on t-shirts and blanks specifically. So a mistake that I made that I hope you guys don't make, and I still struggle with, is I usually make when I start a new brand, I always want to go with the best blank that I personally like, that I feel most confident and comfortable in. However, that's usually not what sells that we market wants. So for instance, this one that I'm wearing, it's a Industry Threadworks t-shirt, one of ours, is the alternative apparel uh 4618 or something like that. We don't use it anymore. I love this one. It comes in a bunch. It's like the best fitting blank ever, and it fits fucking perfect. The problem is, it's way over. It's twice as expensive as any of these. And what I found is that most of our customer base doesn't care. They just they're not t-shirts like me. They don't care. They just want something that fits them well and that is priced appropriately. So keep that in mind when you're making these blank decisions for your brand. It is super important for the overall fit, feel, and style of your brand and what market you're going for. But don't do what I did. Don't overcomplicate it. In fact, little side note, when we were originally doing these t-shirts for the Liberty Risk line, which is our podcast where we don't talk about any business stuff. It's me and another team guy and an army dude, and we just get drunk and talk about bullshit, just all the funny shenanigans stories. So when I first was developing product for that line, I was like, no, we got to get these really cool blanks. And it was like Cotton Heritage, great blank. I love that blank. However, our audience did not care, and those were twice as expensive as the next level 3600s. So now all our new stuff for Liberty Risk, because I didn't take my own advice, I made that mistake again after 19 years in the industry. We still put it on the wrong blank for our market. I was overshooting it. I was putting too much of my own DNA into it. And so now we're transferring. So all the new stuff from Liberty Risk is going to be on the next level 3600. So something to consider when you're developing your own product line, is which blanket to put it on. It's hugely, hugely important in your market, but also don't overshoot it. Don't overcomplicate it. And an important thing to consider is you can always change it. You can always change it like we did. Shoot with something you like or overshoot it, undershoot, whatever. Sell out of whatever you can sell. And if you don't like it, just change the blank. It's a simple email with your manufacturer, and then they can give you a new price depending if it's up or lower on that. And then you can run with that. Now you're good. That's that. That's blanks. Like I said, we're trying to keep it short and to the point for you guys. If you like this, we are developing a group on Facebook called Industry Threadworks that is specifically for apparel brand owners to give them as much information as possible so you guys can grow and scale your brands, and also have a peer group of people to talk with, because it gets lonely out there. Apparel is one of the hardest businesses I've ever started. It's a ton of work. It's hugely rewarding. It's so fun. I love this space, but it's hard and it's very lonely. It can feel very lonely, especially when you're trying to ride that line between your vision and the market and the data and all this stuff. So that's what we're here for, is to give you guys as much information to grow your brand, scale it, and feel confident in your decisions that you're making, and hopefully make money and put your vision out into the world and see that on other people and grow it. That's what we're here for. See you guys.